Welcome to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11.
And welcome into Home Track Heroes here on a Sunday night on Seattle 11. So glad to have you in with us. Caleb Hart, Ben Iman, the co-host with the most, or the co-host who's getting moist this week because it was wet at the racetrack. We are excited to bring it to you, but boy, it is wet weather conditions. That means we had promised you last week pro late models. Unfortunately, got to break your promise. Sorry about that. However, we will double up on one of our divisions. As you can see, there was a lot of standing water here on the racetrack. Our program today brought to you by All Ply Roofing. We'll start with street stocks. 30 laps scheduled around the 3/8 mile, and Marty Sokolsky on the front row, the 89 out of Woodinville, sponsored by Matthews Lumber. Next to him, Austin Camp, the 69 from Monroe, sponsored by Phillips Law Firm. Row number 2, it's the rookie Jackson Beckel, the 18J out of Lake Stevens, sponsored by Tire Pros of Arlington. And his outside, undefeated on the year, Steve Potasic, the 06 out of Kirkland, sponsored by Lane Automotive.
Jim Fody will pilot the 85 out of Edmonds. He's sponsored by Trademark RCS. Starting alongside number 22, that's Kenny Erickson of Tulalip. He's got Central Welding aboard. Our fourth and final row is the 39, a member of Racing Royalty. Stuart Harding is out of British Columbia, sponsored by Harding Forklift Services. And Jerry Helm pilots the 8. He's out of Whidbey Island, sponsored by Leffler Tree Service.
So, Ben, you've been with Evergreen Speedway now. We're working on year number 2 for you. Have you seen anything like the conditions that we are racing in today?
I don't think I've seen anything quite like today. It is just piss poor out there today. We are looking at standing waters. You see Sokolsky immediately gets loose. This was like in 3rd grade when my elementary school, as a reward for doing well, took us all ice skating. That did not end well for 3rd grade, Ben. Hopefully these drivers have better luck while they ice skate our track.
Well, you're going to find out. There's a couple of different strategies for doing her. As Austin Camp gets around here on the opening lap and has his tires pointed the wrong direction. We'll get a look at how it happened. Again, a lot of these drivers have some experience in racing in the wet weather. Sokolsky, none that I know of, and it's his right front into the left rear of Camp that starts our first of what could be more than a few caution flags here over the course of our event.
I did not say Austin Camp by name there, so I'm not going to take credit for that one, Caleb, but hopefully knocking on all the wood we can that these drivers are able to avoid many spinouts and many times into the grass, because the grass, I know our landscaper friends are not going to be excited to have to hit the grass after today.
No, and you can see Camp was carrying a pretty good line. It was just a short mess up by Sokolsky on the inside. And that's going to happen, right? You've got to have some trust in your fellow drivers to not overdrive and to know what they can do with their car. You're also going to see lower speeds because of that. So just one of the things about racing in the wet weather, as you can see what the drivers are dealing with. Every one of these cars has a windshield on it. A good chunk of them have windshield wipers because, hey, we run rain or shine here at Evergreen Speedway. And Steve Potasic is dealing with a wall of water coming into his face.
Yeah, definitely getting up to the clean air. We talk about his normally advantage in the front, but it's going to be especially an advantage today as you see Beckel, big slide there on his teammate of Camp. It's going to be an advantage today that you get out of the spray.
Indeed, as Beckel down on the inside, Camp up on the outside, giving his starting position back because, just innocent error. They're all chasing Sokolsky here at the moment out in the front of the field with the in-car and the Brady Good Promotions camera on the Potasic machine. And, usually we see these guys zooming through these turns 20, 25 mile an hour faster than what they're doing here on this afternoon, but everybody taking it pretty easy.
Yeah, definitely a bit of caution with all these drivers. You want to settle in. Something you're also going to see here, they're almost running single file. They're letting the rear ends kick out a little bit. That's going to probably happen no matter how much control you have. There's not a lot of traction on this racetrack as Potasic is going to try to close up to Beckel, but they're all running single file. Looks to be on the top line of our 3/8 oval here. With the way the banking works, that water will oftentimes trickle down towards the bottom and can sometimes pool. So normally the inside line, the favorable line is the favorable line around the 3/8 oval. Drivers are going to probably stick more towards that top side, which might make passing even more difficult.
So, simple version, water runs downhill.
Correct.
That's gravity. Ben Iman, thank you for the science lesson from 2nd grade.
You're very welcome.
Yep.
It's an elementary school episode here on Home Track Heroes today.
Indeed, as you sit here, look out, Sokolsky sailed it just a little too hard, and that's going to give Beckel a chance to run down on the inside. He went down to the middle groove, made the pass, and now up front is Jackson Beckel, still tiptoeing, although the track every lap makes it slightly drier depending on whether or not the mountains are full and the water is coming down from up atop the clouds and coming down from the mountains.
I believe right now we're looking okay, and that I think that we're getting less precipitation than what's already on the track, but looks like Potasic around Sikulski. Steve Potasic has opened the year, Caleb, 3-4-3 in the Tire Pro Street Stock Division, looking to keep the clean season going right now, but right now he's going to have to run down Jackson Beckel, who, coming into the year, a lot of high hopes for that 18J team. They put a lot of work into that car, and Lady Luck has not swung their way.
I think I'm interested to watch and see what strategy Potasic is going to use to try to get around Jackson. The playbook, if you're out front, is to get as high up on the racetrack as you feel comfortable running and make as many clean laps up there as you get. The playbook running second can vary, and right now the first one that Potasic's going to try is going all the way down to the bottom. Now, it is treacherous down there. He had a good run, but might get saved by a yellow flag for Beckel, as Kenny Erickson is helping us out with some lawn mowing.
It's like Kenny Erickson around here. Let's take a look. Back end goes there, and oof, a little splash through the puddle there is when the car got loose, and just like inside the washing machine spin cycle, Kenny Erickson around.
Yeah, Jim Fody got the good view of that from his 85, and you can see Jim really just taking things very easy in the 85 car as well. So we'll reline them up, and these double file restarts are really treacherous for all of the drivers. And again, you got to have a lot of faith in the driver next to you on your inside if you're in the outside lane, to not push too hard in through the corner and clean you out. And that's exactly what doesn't happen off the front row, as Beckel retakes the lead, and Camp will work his way into position number 2. Potasic going to have to try to get by Austin, team car to the 18 once again.
Yeah, so far I'd say this is the only race of the year that we've really seen Steve Potasic not immediately make his way forward, struggle a little bit on that restart. Camp able to get around him, but the 06 machine might come alive here, might not spend too much time behind Camp.
Counts! Austin Camp!
Oh.
Spin cycle for him for the second time.
Oh, Austin Camp got stuck atop the DJ's turntable in the back of the straight between 2 and 3. You can see just came down the racetrack. Steve Potasic was there, and Eric around he goes.
Indeed, nice looking save there from Camp, as 2 cars, 1 spot. It's hard to make that work during dry conditions, but much less when we have the wet weather like we do. Good job, everybody else avoiding him.
Yeah.
Here's a cool shot. I guarantee you this camera's going to get wet at some point in time today, as everybody comes splashing by, and you can see the save made by Camp. Here's from the Fody car. Jim getting to the inside of Sikulski, and there's the spud out. Here's from Potasic. Yeah, Steve didn't have anything he could have done there, unfortunately.
Yep, just a little love tap to the back. Camp tried to come down, and that's not definitely the direction I think Austin Camp wants to be pointing out of turn 2.
Say this for the drivers as well, the ones that operate with spotters, which is most of them in the division. Visibility for the spotters is challenging today. They're having to deal, now they are under a covered grandstand, but they're having to look all the way across the track with spray coming up, and that normal, 20/20 vision of your clear is a little bit harder on a day like this.
Definitely, the conditions affect everyone here at Evergreen Speedway, especially Flagman JD, who's stuck out there in the weather with no creature comforts up on the flag stand. Looks like Potasic spun the wheels a little bit on the restart. Jim Fody's up in the 3rd, and Kenny Erickson's around again.
Well, Kenny already has explored the grass. Now he's checking out the lower groove, right? Let's take a peek. Let's see how it went down. Look, yeah, it's just... Again, the car is harder to handle. Your save factor is even worse. So we're going to see a lot of this, unfortunately. The V8's a lot of power, but long wheelbases, and it starts to go around. It is hard to save, especially with some of the rear-wheel drive cars.
Yeah, especially lots of challenges. That is what we'll talk about. Evergreen Speedway, you mentioned it, Caleb. We are rain or shine out here at the Super Speedway of the West. Doesn't mean it's easy. These drivers, incredibly talented in the street stock division. You can see the challenges that they're having with the wet weather. It is going to be probably a problem for everyone throughout the night.
Just wait. I'm sure we're going to get even more fun as we get into some of the earlier or beginners divisions here over the course of the night. Little bumper tag down the front straightaway, a little side by side. They get in the corner, and Beckel trying to hold that lead again. Here is Fody in the 85, and he's working on Hardy in the 39 car, who's got position number 3 with 9 laps in.
Yeah, Stuart Harding slowly starting to pick his way forward. Has had a couple good runs here in the street stock division to start this year. Also, one of those drivers that luck has not swung his way at certain times, but Jackson Beckel able to open up a nice little gap here to Steve Potasic, and oh, Jerry Helm splash down.
So Helm, gear violator this time. And it's that same spot that you just saw Ericsson get around in, right? Tried to put a little too much horsepower down at the racetrack, and the rest of the car says, nope, not gonna comply.
You think we could throw some of the speedy dry down and maybe that would help?
I think that just end up like wet kitty litter at this point in time.
Well, anything might be better than nothing.
Well, the only people who like wet kitty litter is cats. So, we have seen a slew of yellow flags. It's been a downpour, if you prefer, as we will continue on here at the Street Stock main event. Tire Pros Street Stocks, and hopefully everybody's got their wet weather tires from Tire Pros. As we will go to a single file restart. So instead of continuing to try to double file, we're going to single file to see if we can get some more laps put into the book and off of the ledger here.
That might help a little bit here, when you're not immediately having a car start to your outside, and all it takes is that, one of those cars on the front row spin the tires, get loose, and that could cause carnage behind. So probably the smart decision with these safety conditions just to restart them single file.
Well, and the Evergreen Speedway officials are on their ears and the racing radios going, guys, you got to take it a little bit easier than this. Like, throttle down, get around, maybe a little more selective about where you're putting the horsepower down.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you get the wheelbase and everything pointed in the right direction maybe before we get onto the power. Jim Fody's looking down the inside of Stuart Harding. That would be for third. Here comes Kenny Erickson with a big run down the inside of Jim Fody. Almost went 3 wide there for a second. Fody got loose. Good save there. Fody, of course, one of the more skilled and veteran racers here in the class.
Even at then, you watch as they're going around, you can see how much the cars are bobbling even at half throttle as they're coming into it, right? So they're just having to run almost as if there's an egg underneath the throttle pedal at this point in time. It's got to be super, super easy. Fody downstairs working on Harding. Door panel to door panel, and again, proper throttle application is huge here. Now with a little clearance, Fody can float the turn and picks up correctly on the gas to work his way into third as we picked another couple of laps off.
Yeah, when that car gets loose, and you saw with Fody there, started to go left, started to go right, it is so easy, I'm sure, for these drivers to overcorrect and cause the car to go the wrong way. So Fody showing some of the skill he's got underneath in that wheel and just able to back off it, get the car square, and will now roll up into third as Kenny Erickson wants a shot at Stuart Harding.
I am really surprised that Fody and Erickson, a couple of the more senior drivers here in the division, are running as low on the racetrack as they had been up to this point. Now Erickson, with a couple of caution flags already charged to him, might be choosing to be more conservative here. You watch, he's now kicked it in the middle groove, but the higher those cars go on the track, the more speed they've been able to carry and the straighter they've been able to drive it. So see if Erickson, by moving up, can roll in more on Harding. He goes in and saved it. He made a lot of ground up there without getting the car sideways. It was good for Kenny.
Yeah, good lunge there for Erickson. We're halfway home here in the street stock main event. Kenny Erickson right now, best battles, looking to try to get around Stuart Harding. That's, again, getting low there in turn 1 and 2. That's sometimes been a tricky spot there for the drivers who have come out of too low and try to go up the track and get on the throttle, but Erickson's able to close up to Harding here. Both cars got a little squirrely there. We cut back to Jackson Beckel. Right now sitting comfortably from Steve Potasic. Not quite sure exactly where the 06 is in the frame, but Beckel taking advantage, leading some laps, trying to hunt down that first win of the year and first win in a street stock.
And doing very well. He's got the car as high up on the racetrack as anybody else at this point in time. See his line. He comes in through the middle. He picks up the throttle post apex and rolls on through. Meanwhile, this is for third. It's the best battle on the track. Erickson going wheel to wheel with Harding. We got to take a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll finish out the Tire Pros Street Stocks main event here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11, brought to you by All Ply Roofing. We are in the middle of the Tire Pros Street Stock main event here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. I'm Caleb Hart. He has been Iman. The battle on your screen is for third place here in the Street Stocks. 22 of Kenny Erickson. Sorry, make it fourth place as 22 of Kenny Erickson and the 39 of Stuart Harding going after it. Those two have been after it for a little while, almost a door slam, but you can see Erickson getting comfortable enough to finally assert himself on the throttle pedal and then has to gather it back as the car gets just a little bit wiggly.
Yeah, definitely lost the back end there. That's going to allow Harding just kind of sit in there. Harding, one of the only cars you see with the opened rear end there, get kind of a peek into the back end of Stuart Harding's car. These two still duking out. Will Erickson try this around the outside here? And
Jerry Helm's 8 car stopped up in the grass, and that will draw yellow. Jerry started getting around, almost saved it.
Yeah.
Almost. Counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but unfortunately not auto racing.
Yeah, tough here. Looking the wrong way. Into the grass. Great view of the racetrack there, though, for Jerry, I got to say. That's
worked out quite well. So we've killed a lot of laps here. We're getting closer down to the end. It's been the Jackson Beckel show out front of this one. I mean, you want to win your first by any means necessary. Sure, he wasn't dreaming of doing it in the downpour, but at the same time, this has been a good performance for Jackson. He's going to survive 11 more times around.
For sure, he's got to survive here. You talk about winning your first one here in the downpour. You got to be good to run it in the rain. You know, we do it. So Jackson showing us he has the skills here in this class while it is still wet to run up front and potentially win.
And one of those things, too, is Kenny Erickson got her back going. Can we stay green? Come on, Kenny. Hey, we stayed green.
Looks like we've stayed green. Stuart Harding's taking it to Jim Fody for third.
Can Harding figure out the middle of the track here? Fody glued down on the bottom. Jim speeds her up, getting into the third turn. I expect that car to float just a hair coming off the corner. Harding doing a good job sticking with her, just looking to spray, getting off the tires as they come down the straightaway. Jim, cowboy up, buddy. He wrangles her back together. So Fody holds third for now, but Harding's still right there.
Yeah, Stuart Harding still right there. Jim Fody got a little wiggly, but he's definitely showed us he has the skills here no matter what when that car gets wiggly to get it back under control and point it the right way. Right now it looks like Beckel, Potasic looking to close a heat race distance here to finish in the Street Stock main event. Can Steve Potasic get to the back of the 18J and then get around him to try to get his fourth win of the year?
And it's interesting, this is as close as Potasic has been in a while, as Beckel had escaped in that last long green flag run. Watch those two do battle. The Tire Pros sponsored 18 of Jackson Beckel, and Tire Pros is the official tire dealer of Evergreen Speedway. Tire Pros, your one-stop tire retailer, where honesty is the best policy, and they have a hassle-free guarantee.
Jackson Beckel leading here, trying to get that 18J to victory lane. It will be the first time of the year that they can get that 18J to victory lane if he's able to hold on here. They've been working hard on that machine, getting it ready throughout the season. Talk about mid-season having some high ambitions in his rookie year here in the class.
I think you can see, too, they've got that car relatively loose. Like, he is definitely not battling any understeer or tight condition by any means. I would say it's more on the loose end, a little bit of oversteer, but that's allowing Jackson to just take it very easy. The car's rotating all the way around the track, and the one thing he's got to his advantage, while Potasic is able to run that lower line on the track, Beckel's able to pick up the throttle a hair earlier. That might make a difference when coming down to 4 to go. Yeah,
Potasic might just try to square in behind Beckel, try to get high up the track as much as he can and get that run in, but it's going to be hard to pass. It's like a North Wilkesboro Sunday night here when the track is wet. Tough to get around. You want that high lane, but Jackson Beckel's not going to open that up to Steve Potasic very early.
Potasic has tried carrying the bottom the whole way around. That didn't work. You saw him move up to the middle, and I got to wonder if he's going to make one of those dive bomb runs at some point in time, carry the low side, keep a bunch of speed, and hope the racetrack holds you. You see it, that car getting loose as he comes down the front straightaway. Goes to the very bottom. And then the idea would be to try to keep your speed up through the bottom and then catch up to the car on corner exit as you slide all the way to the top, but he hasn't quite done it yet. This is more like a short slide strategy that Potasic is trying now. Maybe start in the middle and see if you can duck just far enough underneath Jackson and not have to deal with the wash-up as much, but Beckel has been manned up to the task, as Potasic is right there coming to the white flag the next time around.
Yeah, it'll be one more time around when they come through 3 and 4 here. Potasic's doing everything he can to get to Jackson Beckel's rear end, but they'll roll off 4. See the white displayed. One more time to go for Jackson Beckel, looking to get his first Tire Pro Street Stock win here in 2025.
And Jackson's smart move brought the car down a half groove in turn 1 and 2. Prevents the big run for Potasic. Potasic will shoot in right behind him, but it is the Jackson Beckel show as he'll break the back end loose and win his first Tire Pro Street Stock main event. Good run by Potasic, relegated to second for the first time of the year, and a long ways behind, there's the veteran Jim Fody.
And Jim Fody will round out a podium, another podium finish for Jim Fody. Let's talk to these drivers on the Angel of Winds Casino Resort podium.
All right, Jim, that was a crazy race. Stuck on lap 8 for a long time. How'd you figure out those restarts? It seemed like everyone else struggled. You found it quickly.
Oh, I only had a hole about the size of a quarter to look through my windshield. It'd fog up. I just looking through the hole and hopefully nobody's there in front of me, you know, otherwise they were getting hit.
Off that last restart, you had a great battle going between you and the 39 of Harding. Walk us through that.
In the rain, it's just a prayer. Yeah, I mean, it's just pure luck. I've had a fair amount of luck this year, so it's going good.
And who would you like to thank for getting out here tonight?
Oh, Ridgemark, Vista Supreme, Everett Mazda, Action Machine for building me awesome motors. Always Dove. Who else I got? Napa, Central Welding, and my family, my wife, Jay, for doing all the work on the car. He's awesome. My brother for coming out here and making fun of me. He's always done that, though, so I'm used to it. And all the Vince Patrick crew. Chad for coming out in the rain, too, to help me. So that's good.
Driver number 85, Jim Fody, third place tonight. Well, Steve, it was a long-run car versus short-run car. You had the long-run car. What more do you think you needed to get to Jackson?
Some sight. You can't see anything out there. I'm trying not to hit the Euclid. The car is probably, I don't know, there's got to be 4 inches of water, and every time I hit the brakes, it splashed me everywhere. And so, yeah, not a lot of fun, but thanks for the fans for coming out.
Jackson, you've taken home the win in the rain with the Stingers, taking it home in the Minis. Now you get it done for your first one here in the Street Stock class. How you feeling?
I don't know. Nervous. I don't know. That was pretty fun. I don't know. There's a lot of water in turn 1. I don't know if you guys could see it. About every single time I went there, it was death grip the whole time.
Short run speed was the name of the game, and that's what got you here to victory lane. Jumping off those restarts, you did amazing. Walk us through that.
Don't floor it. That's about it. I don't know.
Hey, fair enough. You got a great crew back there helping you out. Who would you like to thank?
Get my handy dandy list here. Number 1, Tire Pros. If you guys need anything done to your car, tires, really anything, go to Tire Pros. It's cold right now, but we're getting into summer. Head over to Genesis, get a nice air-conditioned unit. PTM, Augie, thanks for all your help. Joe's Racing Products, all the parts, letting me bring stuff in. Just Joe's a great guy. ARC. Thank you, Austin, for the ride. Flat Holland, my dad, also my spotter. J Services, if you need anything worked on or serviced, anything, give him a call. Gunderson Speed Shop for doing the tin, half the body, and just give me great advice. Industry Erectors, any steel work you guys need, that's a guy to call. Captain Fantastic, a.k.a. Bailey's dad. All the Beckel race team for the food, the help, late nights in the shop, everything. And all my friends and family for showing up, you guys for showing up on a horrible night. Hopefully that was a good show.
Driver the 18J, his first Street Stock win, Jackson Beckel.
Congrats to Jackson Beckel picking up his first Street Stock win here on Home Track Heroes, brought to you by All Ply Roofing. All right, we've got 2 Hornet main events coming up on the show, Ben. Yes, this first one is for Hornet points on the day, 20 cars, and they're going reverse road course style. Is that what I'm seeing?
I think this is reverse boot.
Reverse boot.
This
All
is
right.
boot DOS.
Joseph Villarreal in the 029 out of Vancouver sits on the pole. Full Throttle Graphics sponsors him. The 19 is Scarlett Fisher from Marysville, sponsored by GN Northwest. Row 2, Chase Gardner is the 32 from Snohomish, the quality towing car. Bobby Houck, the 08 out of Snohomish, and the Snow Valley Farms car sits in the second row.
Row 3, Matt Snyder pilots the 15 machine. He's out of Snohomish. Handy in the valley aboard him alongside the 65. Youth Hornet graduate Bryson Wingfield's out of Monroe, sponsored by his papa, Tony Hill. Row 4 is the 024 of Donna Gillespie, all the way from Salem, Oregon. Waltz Woodco sponsors that machine. 45 is Trinity Reppin of Snohomish, sponsored by Reppin Welding and Rail.
The 5th row is Michael Turner, the 022 out of Monroe. Full Throttle sponsors him. Pat Folger, the 30, is next to him, unsponsored. Dempsey Graham, the 132, starts the 6th row from Duval, sponsored by LAF Tech. And the 101 of Brian McNamara from Snohomish, sponsored by True Line Wheel and Frame of Seattle.
The 81 machine, that's Bobby Fisher out of Lake Stevens, starting alongside the 43. Key of Everett's own Damon Claiborne, who's out of Snohomish. The 77, Christian Miller's out of Everett, sponsored by Turbo Espresso. Starting alongside the 16, Cut Shop of Woodinville aboard Peyton Hopp of Snohomish.
Final 2 rows, the defending champ, the 1 junior, Zach Bristol, Snohomish Hibbs Automotive sponsors it. Gino Solomon, 17S of North Bend, sponsored by Valley Asphalt. Very good in the rain for the 717 of Diesel Snyder out of Cleellum, sponsored by Handy in the Valley. And Dan Miller, the 00 from Everett, the exterior Walt Systems car. 30 times reverse boot as we go green, and in the wet weather, this could be an adventure.
We've gone green, and they went 5 wide for a moment coming across that line. I think that's as many Hornets as you can fit wide, but we'll look towards the front. Looks like Scarlett Fisher's got to Villarreal. Chase Gardner in the 32X machine. He brought the late model, normally runs a late model right now at Evergreen Speedway, but obviously the rain said no, no, no to that, like Amy Winehouse, but he brought the Hornet just in case. And now he still gets to run out at the Super Speedway of the West.
It is a long trip for Gardner. Hometown listed as Snohomish. He's actually over in Eastern Washington at the moment residing, so he's got to come all the way across the mountains for a long trip, and that's a long day if you don't get to go play late model. So he's going to sling her around the outside, try to curve her down to the inside to beat Fisher off the corner. Still up there threatening as he works up and around the high groove. Fisher in down low. As now you got a new competitor up there, and that's Matt Snyder. That entire family is very good at rain racing. 15 of Snyder, the 717 of Snyder, and Grandpa in the 17S of Solomon. And it is Matt Snyder pushing his way up into the lead.
And get this rear end shot of Bobby Houck looking at the field of Hornets coming from behind him. Run, Bobby, run! As that loads of cars coming. Bryson Wingfield gets around Houck. He's up into the top 3, gets a little bump there from Gardner. But yeah, Matt Snyder gets to the lead. Diesel Snyder, I think, picked up his first one of the year last year on a rain race in this Hornet class. And Gino Solomon, who, well, you can see Matt Snyder's all but gone in that first left shot.
Yeah, he checked out of here, saying the bigger bit of pad that I can build myself early, the better. Now, again, here in the wet weather, I'd be shocked if we didn't end up with a caution at some point in time. But you never know. Anything can happen. We're already 3 laps into this.
Well, Bryson Wingfield's got his way around Scarlett Fisher, showing us that the 65 has some wet weather skill. Here's Peyton Hopp, here's Christian Miller, and there's Gino Solomon, 3 of our faster time qualifiers again. Big inverts here for the Hornets, so you'll see the fast cars have to come from the back. Peyton Hopp.
Oh, Peyton.
Ooh, he sent that in maybe a little hot.
Yeah,
sent that in
just
very
a little
hot.
bit.
Oh, Peyton Hopp keeps it on the racetrack after touching the dirt, giving us a DriftCon preview all the way through 3 and 4.
Man, you saw the speed that he came in, and unfortunately the track conditions rained on his parade as in and through in the big right-hand turn. We go back to the front. Hopp lost a bunch of spots, but hey, it looked like fun.
Definitely looked like fun. We'll have to call up our friend Ben White and see how he would score that one, as Peyton Hopp just kept it in hot all the way through the corner. If you're not first, you're last, Caleb Hart.
That's a darn correct comment. There's Gino Solomon, one of the other drivers. Him and Diesel Snyder right next to each other. We've told you how good they are in the wet weather, and they've already picked their way up into just outside the top 5 as, look out, caution flag a-coming. Those drivers in and together, and there is that first yellow break that we expected would be coming.
Yeah, let's take a look. Looks like, ooh, Dempsey Graham was already getting loose, but Donna Gillespie think got tapped there somewhere, ended up sideways. We go on board with the tires. Oh, there's Donna, and there's Dempsey, and there's Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby Fisher's 81, the third car involved in that from Trinity Reppin's very wet in-car cam. Just barely missed it. I don't know how you can even see. There's Fisher, and that's another thing that these drivers are dealing with. It's not just poor visibility due to the rain, but a lot of them don't have a method to defog the windshield from the inside. They've got it going. Gillespie up through Splash and Crunch. We will take a break. Hornet main #1 continues when we come back here to Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11, brought to you by All Ply Roofing. Soggy Home Track Heroes today on Seattle 11. Glad to have you in with us. He's Ben Iman. I'm Caleb Hart. Our program would not be possible without All Ply Roofing. We are in the wet weather, and that means here in the PRCBD Hornet division that the Snyder family is doing their normal wet weather stuff. Matt Snyder has led since very early, and the kid and the grandpa are on their way through the pack, and Christian Miller trying to play spoiler in the 77.
Yeah, the 1JR, Zach Bristol, rounds out the top 5. So just nothing but big gunmen up front. Lots of these guys, all of them could be sheriffs of the West if we teleported back 200 years.
Which is weird. They're from Cleellum. You wouldn't expect that our Eastern Washington drivers would be great rain racers, but they are. Now, Matt Snyder, the one who was just squirrely, ceded the lead to Diesel Snyder. That is the youngest of the group, and Miller held on to second somehow through that whole fricassee.
I know how much that this group would also love a 1-2-3 podium, to get all family members on the podium. It's definitely something that they've talked about, that they've been trying for a while. Is today the day that works out?
Well, got some work to do still. Diesel now your leader, Miller second, and Christian is a self-proclaimed not particularly good in the wet weather. This is a format in which he has struggled. Look out, Diesel kicking the back end loose on the 717, but Christian got something to show here today. He's running really strong in that second spot.
Yeah, Christian Miller's definitely closing up on Diesel Snyder. This is the battle for the lead. Obviously, you want to be on the top step of that podium, but I'm sure all of these drivers will be happy with their precipitation trophies that they'll go home with.
Oh, that's bad.
I know.
I mean, that's not even a real rain punt. You had to stretch. That's a stretch. All right, Snyder continuing the top spot, curling off the corner. Here is Miller. He'll be on the outside as they hook the right-hander down the wet front straightaway, and now Snyder's going to have the advantage. He'll have the short path around the corner if he takes it. Move the car up to at least the middle, and again, the higher up on the racetrack you go in the corners, thanks to the gravity and the pooling effect down at the low side of our banked turns, the drier it gets, the easier it is for the cars to hook up.
And I wonder how much Diesel Snyder running Stingers this year is helping him navigate around this South Pole. You can see how tight he tugs that line and is able to get a lot of good run off that pole. So we'll see him later on in the Stinger main event tonight, but I wonder how much that's also helping him right now.
I'll bet you it is beyond helpful. That too, seat time is seat time, right? It always matters. Every lap you can get, no matter what direction you're going or what car it is, it just gives you reps and gives you a chance to work on those instincts and that reaction time that you need so often, especially when things happen quick. Here it's precipitating.
Matt Snyder on board with him. Gino Solomon's trying to close up and get that third spot, but right now they're running a little further back from our leaders, Christian Miller and Diesel Snyder, all but checked out from this one in a different postal code at the moment, it looks like. They're running here through the reverse of Das Boot. Das Boot, obviously tricky enough. We usually see a lot of cautions or incidents can happen through that weight transfer section. Now we're just throwing in a wet track at them. I can't imagine those rain boots. Is it the rain boot today? Is that what we can call it?
It could very well be a rain boot. Peyton Hoppa's made a nice recovery after going full sail off the racetrack in the middle of the third turn a little bit earlier. His run is dried out, and he's starting to put together some better laps as he is closing in on fourth. There's your leader, Snyder, as the traffic gets heavier.
Yeah.
He is finding clear sailing in and through the squall as works his way into the boots section right now. We've got to thank PRCBD. Visit PRCBD in Arlington for all your CBD products. For people and pets, PRCBD has help for all types of aches and pains. Go to prcbd.com. Use the promo code RACE.
PRCBD Hornets on track. Diesel Snyder working around the outside of Bobby Fisher. These are cars going down a lap. You can just see how much more speed Diesel Snyder seems to have. Wet weather does not seem to be affecting the 717. Right now, he's coming up on the back of Brian McNamara. And in the midst of all this, Caleb, he has dropped Christian Miller. And now he runs comfortably up in the lead. He'll have 15 laps more to go at the line. But the handy in the valley, 717 right now. Got a very solid run going. Hoping for no cautions. I'm sure Diesel is.
I think you and I talked off air when we had just a second. Right now, I think the downpour from the skies is a little bit easier. So these drivers are getting slightly drier conditions to go around in. That's a huge help. As Snyder is doing a great job of adding some space between himself and Miller, and you saw him just carved through the slower traffic. There's a fast race car, and there's a fast race car driver in these conditions, and I think you've got both with Snyder.
Yeah, absolutely. The car seems dialed in for this. Brian McNamara was a little loose there, right in front of Bobby Fisher and Christian Miller. Miller's going to send the 77 around the outside, but you can see there's Chase Gardner. Nowhere in the frame is the leader, Diesel Snyder.
Snyder, as has been his prerogative here in the rain, usually stretches. Miller doing everything he can to maintain pace, but hard to do so as the family battle is getting interrupted. Peyton Hopp clearing Gino Solomon for fourth, and coming after Matt Snyder for third, the orange 16 car, working in between the 15 and the 17S, and now it's going to be Solomon making the big comeback as he works to the inside. They down Scarlett Fisher as he's looking to retake fourth, with Hopp going way upstairs to try to get around Snyder.
Yeah, Peyton Hopp has had an interesting start to the year, and he was excited to bring out this newly orange 16 machine this year. Maybe got a little overzealous there for the move, made some contact with Matt Snyder. He'll fall back a little bit, but had to go to a backup car at one point this night, has had mechanical issues throughout the year, so Peyton Hopp's trying to put together a good run here. He's a former champion of this division, so he knows a thing or two, and especially knows probably how to race this track in the wet, but Peyton Hopp just trying to get now back up, has fallen back into fifth behind Gino Solomon.
You can see where he's carrying more speed than Snyder and Solomon. Now it's how do you get through the slow sections of the course, and looks like he's figuring that part out as we come down about a third of the race to go here, 19 in, 11 left, and we will see these drivers again coming up on the night. This is the first of two PRCVD Hornet main events.
That's right. Dash for Cash coming up later on tonight for these cars. And also, I think something, I don't know how often gets mentioned here, Caleb. My memory might just be fading. But these drivers don't know the course they're running up until we get up here towards the main event. There is a literal wheel in the pits that gets spun at the drivers' meeting that lets the drivers know, Bryson Wingfield. That's not how the car wants to be pointed, and that's going to draw the caution. And Diesel Snyder, I believe's 4.5-second gap is erased in the blink of an eye.
Well, look at that as we'll get a look. Here's Damon Claiborne's in-car cam, and Trinity Reppin got a little bit of that. Here's from Reppin's Regular Promotions in-car camera. Yep, her and Wingfield. Something happened between the two. As here's from Bryson's rear view mirror, and see where it started coming around. So all bad things. Wingfield from the front cam, and two cars, one spot, one big puddle. And I'll tell you what, outside of bringing the race to a halt, sending both those drivers to the back of the pack, you splash that water up. If it gets into the car and like on your race shoes, it becomes a miserable drive.
Yeah, I remember like playing soccer in weather like this. I could not imagine trying to race a car in weather like this. Especially getting wet inside. You have the window net too, so it's not like your interior is all sealed up. I'm sorry, Bryson, that's probably not fun.
Soccer, that's that game where, you go and you watch guys try to score for an hour, usually unsuccessfully.
That's true, and sometimes you don't score and end the game.
Story of my buddy's bar life. As we roll down the front straightaway, it is Snyder back to the lead, and the Snyder family trying to reestablish. Matt's got second there from Christian Miller, but Peyton Hopp sneaking to the inside. They're three wide as Snyder tries to get the door closed. Hopp trying to wedge his foot in there, saying not so fast.
Peyton Hopp using up maybe a little bit of Christian Miller, helping him get through that turn. We've seen Hopp's not afraid to be a heat-seeking missile into 3 and 4. Maybe having to lean on his teammate a little bit there. When they come across clear, Matt Snyder up into second. Diesel's long gone. That rocket ship has taken off. Gino Solomon lagging behind in 5th, but still the Hornets Nest teammates side by side as they come through 3 and 4 once again. Now they're going to close up on Matt Snyder.
All right, the teammates going after the family up in front. Snyder feeling the full effect. It's Miller now who noses ahead. Hop going to back off her, and he will let Miller take another shot. Ooh, bumper tag coming through the turn.
Yeah, that caused Christian Miller to get a little loose. Gino Solomon, I think, stuck a nose up down the inside of Peyton Hop, trying to get up, close the gap, and go 3 wide. He'll just settle in behind. But these drivers aren't afraid to use the lower lane as this race has continued on.
It's been a fantastic battle from 2 through 5 here. Snyder is trying to sneak away, and the more side-by-side time that Miller and Hop spend, the better it is for Matt. Nice save from both the Hornets Nest drivers, as Solomon's just begging for an opportunity to come in. And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Bristol part of Hornets Nest too?
That is correct. And the Snyder family teams and the Hornets Nest teams oftentimes work together. So these people all know each other very well.
And get along most of the time.
100%. But when the helmets go on, the elbows come out.
Some people say the helmets go on and the brain shut off. But right now, everybody working well together. As we're down to the nitty-gritty, it is 6 to go. Diesel Snyder has this one almost sewn up, provided we don't see another caution. Down on the bottom, there is Miller trying to push Matt Snyder up half a groove, getting into the boot. Oh, did he just get a little shove in the rear there from Hop in the center section?
He might have. Christian Miller's going to look to clear. They come around this pole, get a little, both cars going to lose. Matt Snyder doing well, corrected there. Now Peyton Hop might have a run. Christian Miller has second in line. Here comes Peyton Hop trying to raid on the Snyder family parade.
Nice move, Hop down low. Snyder again gets up high with Solomon tucking into the 5th spot looking for opportunity. But Hop will clear Snyder. He has got 3rd here with 5 laps remaining. Now 2nd and 3rd. It is clear sailing to Diesel Snyder, but again, I don't think anybody's got a thing for Diesel out in front.
I have a feeling that no one's going to catch Diesel Snyder just with the amount of speed and skill he has had today. That 717 has been on rails, Caleb Hart, and there is, I don't think, anything these drivers can do pending a caution.
So we may still see shenanigans for 2nd, as it is Miller and Hop. Miller seems to be distancing himself from Peyton, at least for the time being, but slower traffic is coming into play. Gardner going down a lap, Reppin about to go down more.
Absolutely. Here we're trying to see what's going on now. Again, Dan Miller, that 00's had an unusually struggling day. Not seen that 00 competing towards the top where we've seen him recently. He's now going to come under fire and potentially go another lap down as Diesel Snyder eating laps like Pac-Man, just getting around these cars going waka waka goodbye.
Maybe he'll just blame it on the rain.
You know what, maybe.
As through the turn, Hop with the 132. Tucked in behind him, Dempsey Graham is a lapped car here in this. So we're down to 2 to go. 2 more times around for Diesel, and 2nd and 3rd have now opened it up enough to where they're not necessarily contested positions on the track.
It doesn't look like it, unless something can happen, which again, rain shenanigans can shenanigans. So right now we're just watching to see where any of these battles can ensue. Hop might try to close the door on Christian Miller here with 2 to go. Diesel Snyder has to have taken the white flag here. Yes, he has. 1 more time to go for all of these Hornet drivers here in their point-paying main event.
And there is the difference in distance. It's a full 2 corners ahead for Diesel as opposed to Miller. Hop gonna soak up a lot of distance getting into the boot here, but not quite enough as there's still 3 car lengths between them. But this one was the Diesel Snyder show, and he will take the checkered flag and another win in the wet weather for him. Christian Miller, a very good rain performance in 2nd, 3rd to Peyton Hop. The moist Derek Todoroff down for the Angel of the Winds Casino Resorts podium.
All right, Peyton, it is slick, but you've got experience in that. You're a former champion in this division. Walk us through the thought process heading into the reverse boot with conditions like this.
Oh man, it's definitely real loose. You have to be very careful on the throttle, have to feather it a lot, and you have to be aware of all the other drivers around you just because the conditions are so slick. You don't know what's going to happen out there, but we had a really great battle for the top 5 there for a lot of the race, and there's nothing better than battling with my teammate Chris over there. I mean, that was an awesome battle for 2nd.
Weaving in and out, that was amazing to watch. 2nd through 5th for about 5 laps. Walk us through what's going through your mind in those moments with a teammate battling for position.
Well, I wanted to pressure him, and I wanted to give him a little bit of side draft bumper, but I didn't want to shove him out of the way either. So I kind of felt bad when I sent it a little too much in this corner and got him in the door. But I mean, there's nothing better than just battling with my friends out here on a Saturday night. I mean, that's what it's all about.
And who would you like to thank for tonight?
I'd like to thank the Woodinville Cut Shop. They're out in Woodinville, like the best ribs that you could get. I'd also like to thank GN Northwest, Hornets Nest Racing, Hop Racing, Brandy Hood Promotions, Fast Eddie Tire Pros, Grandma and Grandpa Hop, and just all the fans for sticking it out here and just enjoying all this racing on a Saturday night. We can't do it without you. Woo!
Driver of the 16, third place, Peyton Hall. All right, Christian, those first few laps, you look like you had the speed to chase down Diesel. How much more do you think you need to get to him?
Maybe 10 more laps. He's really smooth in the wet. Towards the end there, I started to get a little impatient and trying to catch him and started to blow turns. And that's how Peyton got really close. And I was like, okay, just calm down. Diesel can have this one. I'm not going to try and chase him down because if I do, I'm not going to get there anyway. So
you guys get a second one tonight, another chance to go prove yourself, win some money. How you feeling going into that?
Pretty good, especially if we're running this course. I don't know what course we're running, but I could definitely use that $300, some tires, an oil change or two. Sounds great.
And who would you like to thank for your performance tonight?
I gotta thank Exterior Wall Systems, Michael Manning, sorry. My truck broke down right as I was about to leave for the track, and he loaned me a truck, so thank God for him. I gotta thank Tire Pros, Fast Eddie's Tire Pros in Everett, Turbo Espresso in Linwood, Hornets Nest Racing, Rick's Mobile AC, all the fans that came out tonight. I mean, I know it's really bad weather, but I appreciate you guys being here.
Driver the number 77, Christian Miller, second place. Diesel, you may have one more race to go, but this is a points sweep. Qualifying, heat racing, and the points paying main event. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. That was awesome. I just kind of went, full send, why not? Let's do it.
You navigated traffic like a pro. Look like you've been doing this 15, 20 years out there. What is the secret for you to just weave your way on through?
Knowing where you're at, when you're at, and being patient.
Great job out there tonight. Know you got people back there helping you out. Who are they?
I gotta thank Handy in the Valley, Valley Asphalt, Snowfalls Credit Union, bus drivers. There's a ton more people. My mom, my dad, they're my biggest supporters out here. And these awesome fans, thank you guys.
The 717 Diesel Snyder wins the points-paying Hornets.
Welcome back here to Home Track Heroes. We're broadcasting thanks to our friends at Seattle 11 and, of course, our friends at All Ply Roofing. I'm Caleb Hart. He has been I'm Ben. We have got BECU mini stocks, and here comes the rain again. These 11 drivers are going to have a rough go of things as the wet begins from the skies again. Ronnie Absher in the 72 from Federal Way sits on the pole in the United States Seafood car. Cole Reardon's 4 to the outside of him from Granite Falls. Bob T. Builder sponsors it. Zach Bristol in the 97 out of Snohomish. Racers Against Child Abuse sponsors that car. And the 221 of Lyndon Smith out of Everett, sponsored by PRCBD.
The 26 machine is Jimmy Absher out of Marysville. NPM Welding and Fabrication sponsors him. He'll start alongside Brandon Lindbergh in the 88 out of Monroe, sponsored by Tire Pros. We move a row back to the 59 of Tegan Bjornson out of Arlington, sponsored by the Newell Corporation. And I don't have to pause on TV. The 12 machine is Gavin Blue out of Marysville, sponsored by Absher Build LLC.
Final 3 starters, welcome back to the Cookie Queen. Jaden Kelly out of Breyer. Tom's Automotive sponsors the 24. Paisley Bender from Snohomish, the Allied Motorsports number 18. And at the back of the field, that's Keegan Mooney from Bellevue. Custom Auto Repair Specialist Cars sponsors the 11. They'll go 30 times, round the 3/8. I have seen some wild stuff with 4-cylinder, small wheelbase cars on the 3/8 in the wet weather. This could be a lot of fun. It could also be a comedy of errors, so we'll see how it turns out.
Either way, it'll be good TV, so grab your popcorn and grab a seat. You're not going to want to go anywhere. Is they're going to immediately box up and all get close to each other while the track is wet. Maybe not the best solution, guys, but you know, who am I? No, I have not been in their seat in this situation, so I won't critique.
They all made a very successful lap number 1. Cole Reardon, who's been a feature winner here on the year, is out to the early advantage. You can see visibility is still pretty challenging from the seat of the Lindbergh car, but they're figuring out their way around. For second, that is Smith, who's been a winner himself, taking on Bristol, who's seeking his first mini stock win in 97.
That's right, and that 97 is underpowered compared to some of these other cars, the Hondas and the Fords. That VW Scirocco is going to do some heavy lifting if he wants to get to the front tonight. Bristol has honed in the same word. He should get it tattooed on his eyelids. Consistency, consistency, consistency. That is Zach Bristol's special sauce to success, and even though he might be running a little powered down compared to some of these cars, he's going to still fight hard and work inside the top 3 as much as he can.
Might work to his advantage here tonight, where you can't necessarily get all of your power down to the racetrack. Reardon, Smith, and Bristol, your top 3 early here. You can see Smith in the Mustang kind of fight to keep that back end straight behind him here. He's had to swim it a little bit, a time or two, but running a nice, cool second and eyeballing the back of Reardon, who's also picked up a feature win on the season. Reardon, Smith, Bristol 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, coming into the season, you could have easily said that these 3 cars running 1, 2, 3 might have been 3 to keep your eye on for that late season championship run when it came down to it. Reardon, who only picked this up midway through the year last year, he did some sub-driving for Gavin Ballou, and then he ended up bringing his own car out. Just saw how fast that Ford machine was in a straight line, got it nicely painted up, and now is running towards the front. Lyndon Smith, he's a former champion in this division. And Zach Bristol shown in the Hornet class multiple times the skill he has when he's behind the wheel.
So your race leader, Reardon, they passed the first test of getting around slower traffic and having to adjust on the fly coming through the corners. So first 6 laps down, incident-free, as we need to thank our buddies up at the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort. I'll tell you what, if you want to do some sports betting, Angel of the Winds is the place. If you think you can pick a winner, your chance to prove it, Angel of the Winds Casino Resort, the only home for sports betting north of Seattle, exit 210 off I-5 in Arlington. Right now, safe bet on the guys who have done it already this year. 1 and 2, Reardon and Smith, but Zach Bristol keeping close. It's not quite throw a blanket over him status, but yeah, that top 3 tightly packed for rain racing, that's for sure.
Absolutely, working around the 18 of Paisley Bender. She'll go a lap down here as Smith starting to close up on Reardon. Here's the thing we've seen with the 4 car a lot of time. It is a rocket ship in a straight line. Reardon oftentimes will have to break up a little bit more into the corners, but just carry so much straightaway speed. But with the weather like this and the track all wet, he might not have that same straightaway speed. And here comes Lyndon Smith working around the high side.
And Smith finds a nice line that he can carry his speed through. He will nose ahead and have the lead going into turn number 3. So Smith further up racetrack, and he is humming. Top spot right now for Lyndon Smith.
Yeah, top goes the Mustang here in our mini stock competition. 19 more laps to go. Might be 20 laps to go, apologies.
And you had talked earlier about the benefits of being out front and not having to be able to spray from other cars. One thing you're noticing on the Reardon and Bristol cars right now, those windshield wipers, they are full bore back and forth. No windshield wiper on the Smith car.
Yeah, right now, that thing's able just, you know, when you're not kicking that spray up and you've got clear track right now, if it's not raining too hard on them, then you probably can save a little bit there and not have to worry too much as the caution flag is going to fly here. Oh, Gavin Ballou, that's not the racetrack.
No, goes off and examines what turn 3 would look like if we turned it into a putt-putt course.
Oh, yeah, backed himself down there, ready for the drive-in movie, potentially a little bit there. He got himself parked and backed up. But Gavin Ballou, that is not the racetrack, friend.
No, that'll gather the field back together as we are about a third of the way through the race here. It is the mini stock division. Let's stack them up, send them off. Don Fairley busy listening to the Giants game as he pulls her on into the infield in the Speedway Chevrolet pace car. Bristol inside. Smith's going to be up on the outside here. So second was Bristol and Lyndon Smith. with a big old bobble on the start. Jaden Kelly's going to go around, and Paisley Bender clips off a Uke tire. Chaos on the start, yellow flag out.
Yeah, that's what we talk about, the dangers of these wet restarts. One driver, all it took was him spinning the tires. That was Lyndon Smith at the front. Raritan had to check up. Absher had to check up. It was Kelly who got into the back of Absher, and then Paisley Bender trying to avoid Jaden Kelly. Rear end meet Uke tire.
Once again from the front, as Lyndon got crossed up, managed to pull out of it and drive away, but the chaos that happened in and behind him because of it is going to make a big effect here on this field. As we get another look from our Seattle 11 camera crew.
Ooh.
Here's from the speed cam.
Yeah, just tried to avoid Kelly. Ooh, that actually was at a lot faster of a pace than it looks like from the wide shot.
Paisley did a really good job to miss Jaden coming off here. Jaden nowhere to go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just stacks up in front of her. Unfortunately, Bender gets the worst of this. We're going to see it from Paisley's point of view right here.
And somehow Gavin Ballew's able to avoid this, and Paisley just, the car got around. Yeah, tough hit there. That's no fun, especially how much water can collect in those Uke tires.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and the speed of the shot, too. You watched it literally go plunk and shift that car back around the right direction. So, tough hit there. Let's try it again. Smith's got a better shot to start on the outside here. Bristol down on the inside. Was hoping that first start had stuck, but Zach Bristol going to take advantage and drive past Lyndon Smith onto the back straightaway.
Yeah, just a good run there for Zach Bristol. Lyndon Smith's going to try to hang it around the high side. Cole Raritan drop it a little bit further back. Brandon Lindbergh looks like he's up into third with the drive off side by side for the lead off of turn 4. And they give it to Zach Bristol at the line.
Some of the veteran guile of Bristol showing here, saying, all right, if you want to drive up in that drier portion of the track and carry that speed, Lyndon, you're also going to have to be brave, because it gets very narrow between there and the wall coming off, and you can see it. Bristol is in the middle, so Smith's going to have to fully commit to being up against the wall with a race car that wants to wiggle on him. And Bristol taking advantage to lead these last couple of laps.
Have to give a shout out here, as it looks like the track's starting to pick up a little bit more water as it starts to rain again. I mentioned JD having to brave the elements up there on the flag stand. So is Flagger Ben, our notorious our fan here. Comes out every week and helps flag with JD. He's braving the elements down there on the yellow stripe up on the midway. One of a few fans, I think, to still keep their spot right up near the fence.
Guys, we have covered grandstands
for
a reason.
No, he wants the flag. I don't let him. Oh, Jimmy
Look
Absher.
out, Jimmy Absher.
Sliding safe.
Stop. I have seen Jimmy do some wild things in rain racing, to the point where, gosh, what was about 3 years ago on either opening night or maybe the second night of the year, Jimmy went almost full throttle into turn number 1 in the rain. Ooh. It was fun. He is a wild man. I love that guy. And fun to watch race. Look out.
Especially when drivers carry that much speed, I was worried that they're going to end up hitting one of those poles out there.
I don't think he's got enough lights on his dash panel. Did you see that? It's lit up like a Christmas tree.
I want a Christmas tree dash panel.
It's never too early for Christmas, said everybody.
Ho, ho, ho.
Green flag out once again, halfway home-ish in this race. In fact, completion of the next lap, it'll be halfway exactly. And boy, Zach Bristol, these starts are really working to his advantage as Cole Raritan's starting to figure it out again.
Yeah, he may not have the most power in the field, but the wheelman might have the most skill in the field. I don't know. We'll leave that up for opinion. I think all these drivers are very talented, and especially the amount of talent it takes to be out here in the wet like this, whipping around at the speeds that they're going. Still very fast and still potentially dangerous at times, but Raritan's going to settle into third, Lyndon Smith up into second, and Zach Bristol using his Hornet experience to lead.
There's the former track champion Brandon Lindbergh, former Stinger champ, here running the mini stock down. He's looking for a podium finish. Upstairs on Raritan, who continues to boogie down to the bottom of the speedway. Lindbergh going up to try to follow Lyndon Smith around the high side, as Raritan and he battle for third with the in-car on Absher once again.
I think also the former Stinger 8 champion to race that specific mini stock had some success in it, so maybe Brandon Lindbergh can channel some of that and use it. He's had a good run so far as he's taken to this mini stock first season in NASCAR, I'd say. and trying to get around Cole Raritan and get himself up onto the podium.
We discussed this. I don't remember if you were on the broadcast or not, but the JBR guys, they know how to get the 4-cylinder cars around this track. So that is going to be an absolute best case scenario for Lindbergh. He has got a great mechanical crew that know how to make that car work. You can see the spray from the speed cam on the front. Just what Jimmy is dealing, trying to come back up and through. There's a look at Absher, who's already recovered a number of spots in the 26 as we're down to 12 to go here in the BECU mini stocks.
Yeah, Cole Raritan's just trying to hang on to that final podium spot right now. Brandon Lindbergh would love to get up on that podium right now. Lyndon Smith, I think, would love to get back up to Zach Bristol, but has not been able to close that gap as the track has gotten more and more wet. Zach Bristol, all of them kicking the rears out a little bit, even on that top groove. Bristol shooting down more towards that mid gap.
Yeah, and Bristol almost looked like he was thinking of changing strategies there. Lyndon Smith coming up on him. We've got to take a commercial break. Don't touch that dial. You won't miss anything. We've got more Home Track Heroes coming up on Seattle 11 next, brought to you by All Ply Roofing. It's been a really good BECU mini stock main event. We still got some laps to go here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Brought to you by All Ply Roofing. You're looking at your top three. The orange 97. That is Zach Bristol, who has 0, count them, 0 career mini stock wins. For all of these successes he's had, he is still looking for number 1 there. Lyndon Smith is a former track champion. He's got more than a few, and he has definitely been, I don't know, kind of like an accordion. He's been closing up on him, and then the lead's expanding, and then closing up and expanding. So you're looking for some consistency out of Smith. Mr. Consistency in front of him in Bristol as they run 1-2 right now.
Yeah, Zach Bristol, the mini stock bridesmaid, has been trying to run away from Lyndon Smith. Got a good gap here, got a good run down the back straightaway. Here's the thing we also got to know. Cole Raritan is still very much in this battle in that 4 car.
Yep.
And if he starts to pick up and start to attack Lyndon Smith, it's hard to play offense when you try and play defense.
That's a really good point, as Raritan has also kind of done the same thing. We have seen him at times make big runs and get close, and then we've seen him drift back a little ways, and that's part of racing on the wet track conditions that we've got today. It's hard to clip off consistent lap after lap after lap. Now, top 3 getting awfully close here as we come down to 6 to go, as Bristol looking to notch a new career highlight.
Yeah, getting his first mini stock win, I think, would be a big deal for him. Zach Bristol's going to try to run away from Lyndon Smith. Cole Raritan starting to close that gap. It's going to be a good battle with 5 to go.
He'll have earned himself an ice cold BUSCH beer, BUSCH Light Beer, in fact, the official beer of NASCAR and Evergreen Speedway. BUSCH beer, sound of refreshment, crisp and cold as a mountain stream. BUSCH.
You like a good crisp BUSCH Light apple, a new seasonal flavor, Caleb? I don't know if you had a chance to try it.
Not yet. Might be one waiting for me post-show tonight. As Smith up on the high side, now Raritan able to push him down low. We had mentioned earlier there is no windshield wiper on the 221, so when he gets directly in behind a car like Bristol kicking up some spray, he's got some more visibility issues than some of the other drivers in the division. You can see Raritan choosing to hang out 2 grooves lower than Smith in the 221. As they come in, look out, Lyndon carrying a lot of speed, but they will successfully get around Keegan Mooney and put him further down. As Ticker will click off another one. We're 3 to go.
I wonder how hard it would be for Lyndon to try to take his hand out the window with like a towel and like start like wiping the windshield while also racing.
Well, you think about it, the way the belts are therein, you're getting your arms to the steering wheel, and that's about it. Your ability to go any further than that is pretty compromised. As we look back, that is 4th place Brandon Lindbergh, who's had a very solid run back there. 2 to go for Bristol. Smith looming and closing in 1 and 2.
Yeah, right now, Lyndon Smith's going to have to set up the move here, and the move is probably going to have to come in 1 and 2 with a white flag, because with the way Zach Bristol's been cornering, it's going to be hard, I think, to get back, but he set himself up well. They'll come back. Here's the white flag. Bristol has some good run down 1 and 2, but does Lyndon Smith have enough to lunge his way up towards the 97?
Bristol, if he had the heart rate monitor on at the moment, probably going bonkers. Down the back straightaway for the final time, has a little bit of pad. Smith sails it in, but can't make up enough. Bristol does not spin the tires and picks off mini stock win number 1.
Zach Bristol has finally found his match and will get to meet the checkered flag for the first time.
Very cool. We'll go down to the podium and talk to the first-time winner and second and third.
Cole, that was quite a wet and wild race at times, sliding everywhere. A couple cautions came out. How difficult is that when you guys are running the course all wet?
It's extremely difficult, especially because the window fogs up and you're driving by the lines and watching the cars in front of you, and hopefully they don't slip up. And it's crazy.
Definitely tough night out there, but a top three's got to feel pretty good for you guys. Who's helping you get that 4-car out here?
Oh, I got to thank my crew: Royce Tanner, Sean Norton, my girlfriend Jenny Spotton, my daughter Kalia, my dad. My sponsors: Bob T. Builder, Royce Tanner Racing, NPM Welding and Fab, Full Throttle Graphics, Finish Line Drafting and Design, my dad. Thanks for the fans that did show up. Thanks BECU. Thank you Evergreen Speedway. I think that's everybody.
All right, let's give it up. Strong run tonight. The third place night, Cole Reardon. Lyndon, you and Zach were duking it out there for a lot of that main event. What more do you think you needed to get to the 97 in the end?
Some front wheel drive.
Yeah, definitely tough out there with the 221, couple strong performances. How's the start of the season treating you?
I mean, besides our motor struggles early, it's been treating us pretty well. Racing with Cole and Zach's just been great. Couldn't ask for more.
Who do you want to thank for helping to get that 221 out here week in, week out?
Well, I got to thank all the committed fans who stayed for the rain. I know it's kind of miserable out, but we kind of think the same. Huge thanks to PRCBD, Central Welding, Bosworth Trucking and Grading, Brandon Built Kitchen and Bath, my college friends, my mom, Joel, he's my stepdad, my spotter. Spencer and Kyle have been a big help to me today emotionally. I probably would only came in third otherwise. So yeah, huge thanks to them.
Let's give it up. Second place night, the 221, Lyndon Smith. Zach, it's a good thing the mic wasn't quite up to you yet.
Not yet.
But the 97 returns to victory lane. You guys have talked about consistency for most of the season. How good does it feel to be on the top stead after that night?
Oh, giant weight lift off their shoulders, whatnot. I mean, we know we're underpowered, but man, that VW can roll in the rain. I had to get used to it for a little bit there, especially jumping back and forth between the Hornet today, but my goodness, it was on rails. I mean, thankfully I can make 1 and 2 work on those restarts and just let it right in front of Lyndon. Like once I had that, like, let's rim ride this track. Well, screwed up a few times. Thankfully, kept Lyndon back there. So it was a hard fought one.
Yeah, with the track as wet as it is, you guys are having to run that top line. Talk about how hard is that? What's the difference there than that line you typically normally like to run?
Well, I mean, normally I want to be down on that bottom, whatnot. And turn 3 and 4, it's not really too bad, whatnot. You can line it up, hit the brakes, and you can just pedal it. Down here sucks. It's an off-camber banking, and we got a river going across there. So if you don't hit it right, like I got sideways a couple times there, thankfully saved it. And it's a workout. You gotta keep being patient, keep feathering it the whole time, and hope to God your car stays straight. And thankfully we got a front-wheel drive to where anytime we got loose, I could just stab it, straighten it out, thankfully. So.
You have one more main event to come, but who do you want to thank for helping you get out here for this one?
I get this man right here, Nat Barber. He's stepped aside this season and decided to put me in the car for some reason, and thankfully I rewarded him with the win. And his wife, Amy, obviously for letting me run. Support letting us come out, because Nat travels across from Richland every single race that we get to keep an eye on it. Obviously the FTG boys that are back there, for all the help. The Hornet Nest gang, they really worked out with me today. We're jumping back and forth between Hornets and Minis. My beautiful girlfriend, Sarah, she's running back and forth. Mini-me, my sister, Momo, I made her cry because we've been apparently 6-7 second place finishes in Minis. We finally got the win off of the back after all these years. And just a shout out to Lyndon and Cole. That was such a fun race. Good, clean, hard race in the rain, which is hard to do, and thankfully got through it.
Let's give it up one more time. Your race winner, driver of the 97, Zach Bristol.
It's a happy podium for the BECU Mini Stocks. Congratulations, Zach, of the many accomplishments. I know that one is going to be up near the top of the charts for him. We got to move on. Buzz Inn Steakhouse, Stinger 8s in the wet weather. There's 10 of them, and it's Riley Riddell, the DL Enterprises, number 20 out of Gold Bar, and Mike Hathaway, the Rep and Welling Rail, number 46 out of Marysville. Row number 2, Randy Moffitt, the 102 out of Everett, B&R Drywall, and Jimmy's outside. The champ, the 21, Matt Somerville out of Monroe, Airport Welding and muffler.
Cody Hoops is out of the 10 tonight. Dawson Cox is in his second figure 8 hot seat of the year. JBR is aboard the 10. Driver out of Arlington. 43 will see Damon Claiborne of Kia of Everett's. Sponsored by, he's out of Sonoma. She's sponsored by Kia of Everett, excuse me there. Diesel Snyder's picked up 1 win tonight. He's going to go for a second. He's out of Cleelum, sponsored by Handy in the Valley. The 16 machine, Peyton Hopp of Snohomish Cut Shop, Woodinville, aboard him.
All right, now let's throw some guys who are not going to break for the intersection. Why not? Back row, Cody Weldon, it's the 151 out of Arlington. All Ply Roofing sponsors him. Andrew Zachary, the 39Z. So 10 cars, intersection. Oh, she's a little damp out there for 30 times around.
And here's the thing, is that intersection's still going to get hot. So even though the track is wet, we might see some steam, might become a sauna out there potentially as we're going to go to the green.
You telling me to cool my jets?
No, not at all.
All right, fine. It is Hathaway from the front row with Rudell, as there is Somerville already peeking his way through, and Claiborne trying to follow him. Those two have had a really fun early start to the season as clang, metal on metal into the first set of left corners for the North Pole. As there goes Somerville trying to fight his way into the lead here early.
Yeah, you can see the Chucky arm outside the side of Hathaway trying to grab Matt Somerville's car. Run, Matt, that baby is possessed. As Matt Somerville is trying to get around Mike Hathaway. Hathaway's going to have Claiborne looking down the inside. Hopp's already moved his way up. Snyder's already moved his way up. And in figure 8 racing, they use the bumper a little bit more than you may be seeing some of the other classes. Bump and run's more common, especially with how wet this track is. When these drivers have to shoot the intersection, normally they can be so agile and dodge out of the way. But the weather, how much agility do you got when you're trying to steer quickly one way or the other?
And with the way it is, you might see the door panel used quite a bit here over in the day. As Diesel Snyder has already worked his way to third. I wonder if any of that Diesel Snyder magic in the wet weather translates here to the Stinger 8s. He's going 2 for 1 style. Wow. It's the BOGO offer through the corner, and Diesel Snyder's got the lead.
Diesel Snyder does not need to put a win on layaway. He's running away at this thing on front through the intersection and quickly away from Matt Somerville and Damon Claiborne. Diesel Snyder, that car is pinned to the inside. It seems like he's having no issues as Claiborne's going to give Somerville a little bit of bumper, try to move around him as they'll run side by side through the intersection. Not too hot just yet, but I'm sure in just a couple laps that's going to heat up.
Peyton Hopp has already made his way up into 4th as Hopp looking for another podium finish for him, and now he's got 3rd as he'll make his way around Claiborne. Claiborne back to the inside as space getting awfully narrow down there. Somerville, I like this. He's only got half glass in that car. You see that? Mm-hmm. So glass over the portion where he's sitting behind and then otherwise open. That's a smart way to vent it.
Absolutely. Just trying to maybe get some airflow so it doesn't all fog up in there and keep yourself blocked. And you don't really care about the rest of the interior getting wet. I think it's mostly just metal roll cage, safety. Not really sure if there's anything integral in there that can't get wet.
It depends on where you have your battery mounted.
Okay.
If your battery is mounted underneath the hood within the engine compartment, then you're relatively safe, although a lot of drivers will relocate the battery to inside the cockpit of the car. You see it behind the seat sometimes. So yeah, that's going to be the only determining factor that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Well, Diesel Snyder still rolling away with this. Peyton Hopp up into 2nd. Somerville's hanging on for dear life. Here comes Damon Claiborne. Here comes Dawson Cox. Dawson Cox, another driver who did not get to run the late model tonight. Obviously, the rain out for the Speedway Chev late models. But Cody Hoop subside and say, sure, hey, take my car for a spin. This is the second time we got to see Cox run a figure 8 race this year. Of course, he's picked up some figure 8 wins in his time, especially the big one. He's a figure 8 nationals winner in his own right.
Very versatile driver is Dawson, and good to see him get some seat time in the JBR car as Claiborne made his way past Somerville there in the left-hand set of corners. Look out, intersection! Ooh, that was whisker thin, was it not?
No, that was Andrew Zachary, like a kitty cat getting through the little door gate, just boom, shot that intersection. Of course.
And the second time, your leader getting narrow, too.
Andrew Zachary, the vice president of Club No Lift, is getting loose in front of the leader.
As that's allowed. Well, Diesel Snyder is absolutely railing this field.
Yeah,
like
Again, we talked about postal codes earlier.
Yeah.
Diesel Snyder ran to his local phone dealer and picked up one of those new area codes that none of us are going to recognize and immediately start sending to voicemail because I'm like, I don't know a 564 or whatever it's going to be number.
You're saying Diesel Snyder's got a burner?
I don't know if he's going to burn it. He's burning the field
He's
tonight.
halfway in front of everybody at this point in time as there goes the 10 of, come on, help me out.
Dawson Cox.
Thank you. Jumping ahead of Somerville and Hop. So Dawson's got third now as that'll shuffle Somerville backwards. And here comes Peyton Hop. So the defending champ is not taking to the wet weather particularly great.
No, not been the next night. Mike Hathaway, Diesel Snyder application pending for Club No Lift, but he's starting to lead at these races, and he's starting to maybe think twice about how often he punches it through that intersection. But right now, tonight having no issues with the intersection.
Well, that was your leader, Snyder, crossing in front of third place already, 12 laps into this. Diesel Snyder's got to be like, hey, can we just race in a humidor? Can we just have moist all the time? Would that be okay?
I think, Diesel Snyder would love if every racetrack was a Hunger Games arena based around wet weather.
He would do awfully well in that.
I think he would too.
You're
Diesel,
also
you
one
would
of
have
7
my
people
vote.
watching this show who got that reference.
That's okay, because you know what? Maybe some of you can go home and read some of those great novels. Literature is great knowledge.
Cadmus, the announcer. David Claiborne swimming the rear end off of the left-hand corner and past the flag stand. There is the race leader, Diesel Snyder, full half track and more over his nearest competition. This is the Buzzin' Steakhouse Stinger 8 main event, and we will resume it when we come back here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. It is an adventure out here in the Buzzin' Steakhouse Stinger 8s. As you can see, wet weather conditions continue here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Program brought to you today by All Ply Roofing. Peyton Hop is running third, and boy, you couldn't tell it by the way he's running because he can barely see anything out the Brandy Hood Promotions camera. They're trying to chase down Damon Claiborne in the green and blue car on the far left, but it's a mess out there, Ben Ivan.
Yeah, they're stuck behind Club No Lift at the moment. Damon Claiborne settled into second. Diesel Snyder, the leader's nowhere to be seen. Well, that's because Diesel Snyder's so far ahead of everyone that he's not even in the same picture. All these drivers just trying to survive Water World out here in the Stinger 8s.
They're chasing waterfalls in the form of Diesel Snyder. As around goes Dawson Cox. Cox gets past Weldon in the 151. He's got third and now clear sailing to the 43 of Claiborne if he can get there.
Damon Claiborne trying to get around, saying the raindrops are falling on my head, but he won't let that stop him from running second, trying to get to Diesel Snyder.
Our program brought to you by Central Welding Supply. Central Welding Supply's outstanding customer service helps them be the industry leader in gases, welding, and safety supplies for industry and life. That is Central Welding Supply. There's a look at Diesel as he laps another car and still more than half a track over Claiborne and Cox, his nearest competition. Something catastrophic would have to happen to Snyder at this point in time for anybody to take this home other than him.
Yeah, I think there's a chance if this thing stays green, Caleb, that Diesel Snyder might get back to this battle for second, third, and fourth.
It's possible as Peyton Hop and Dawson Cox, boy, bumper to bumper as they come in the right-hand set of corners, the South Pole. And there's Claiborne who's trying to work to get his way around Hathaway. About to be a 3-car siesta, albeit a wet one. For position number 2, Hop's got the inside line coming on Cox through the turn.
The drivers making their own form of the quad box here as they come across the North Pole. Hathaway, I think, just hopped up to that second groove, but here's Peyton Hop knocking on the door of Damon Claiborne around Dawson Cox.
Cox really sped back up to close in once again on Hop, who's looking for a clean path in and around Claiborne. Claiborne having to shake the steering wheel himself. He comes up on the back of, I think, Randy Moffitt's 102.
I believe that's Randy Moffitt's machine. And there's Diesel Snyder. Looks like he's running fifth. He's actually running in the lead. And some cars there just scattered everywhere. Why not?
Fourth, third, and second directly ahead of him.
Yeah, he might put these drivers a lap down while they're battling it out for position.
It's 8 laps to go for Snyder to try and lap the field. We have seen guys come all the way up to, I want to say, third in the Hornet main. The late models have had some decent ones where they've run through, but I don't remember a single driver on Home Track Heroes lapping the field.
Yeah, Diesel Snyder might be the first today. He's already got Dawson Cox. He's working on Peyton Hop. Oh, Damon Claiborne just had a blue shell across him. Diesel Snyder's looking to the inside. There he goes around Damon Claiborne, and Diesel Snyder has put the field a lap down.
What a show for Diesel Snyder. You look at it, we've had very few drivers win in multiple divisions on the same night, much less lap the field. Today's Home Track Heroes MVP mode, Diesel Snyder, holy cow.
Putting himself up in some elite category. Diesel Snyder, if he can hold, he's gonna hold this down, I think, because even if a caution comes now, Damon Claiborne will get the lap back, but not everyone else will, and it would just be a two-car shootout with the Delaware-style restart. I think this is pretty comfortably Diesel Snyder's.
Yeah, stay clean and green, please. I want to see a guy lap the field. That's cool.
It's definitely cool.
Oh, Claiborne!
Fred Flintstone into the end zone.
So Claiborne off track and into the middle. Is he safe enough there that we don't have to draw the caution flag? Hop now second, Cox takes third. So far so good as Cox going underneath the white to try to get past the Racing Rudell's 29 and 39 car up ahead of him.
Just having to hang to the outside. Ooh, that's tight.
Got there. Wow. So Cox using a whole lot of racetrack to do it, as we're down now to 2 to go for Diesel Snyder. Wow, what a show from him today.
Damon Claiborne just hanging out. I think they have ruled that he's safe enough right there that we can continue, which is going to allow Diesel Snyder to take a couple victory laps.
Yeah, no kidding. He could stop right here and still have some time to pick it back up and win, as he will come to the white flag. And again, we have not seen this here in the seasons of Home Track Heroes. This is season number 6. And down in through the South Pole one more time. The first driver to lap the field. And 2 feature wins in one night. What a night for Diesel Snyder, the 717. Put your hands together for him.
Diesel Snyder dominates the Buzzin' Steakhouse Stinger 8 main event. We're watching. There's Peyton Hopp for second. Well, I don't even know when Dawson Cox is going to come around. Let's go catch up with Diesel and the rest of them, the Angel Winds Casino Resort podium.
Dawson, you were scheduled to run a late model tonight. Obviously, the weather didn't cooperate with that. So you hop in Cody Hoop's Stinger and pick up a podium, third place tonight. That's got to mean something.
I mean, felt pretty good. I'm going to be honest, we had a way better car in the heat race, and I made a big change hoping to keep up with Diesel. He was just so good. I'm like, I got to do something, and it was not a good change. And we were able to get to third basically by pure luck. Damon broke or something, which sucks for him. I mean, I hate to take a podium like that, but I'll take a podium. It's my first one of the year. So I'm just huge thanks to Cody Hoops, and everybody had a blast racing with all these guys again. Hopefully, I was hoping it would have been dry, but I'm glad I got to race in the rain again.
Who helped you and that 10 team get out here today?
JBR and all those guys. I mean, I don't even know there's so many people that got to the track for me. I was on a arrive and drive. It was pretty nice, but huge shout out to Brandon and Brian Stork. I mean, they've done a bunch for him this year, and it's awesome. So hopefully we can keep doing what they've been doing and get good finishes.
All right, let's give it up. Third place tonight in for Cody Hoops, Dawson Cox. Peyton, it's a double podium finish for the 16 machine. After some of the unfortunate luck you've had to start this year, this got to feel pretty good.
Oh no, this is a great race. 2 podiums here on the Hornets and Stingers. I mean, like you said, it was a very tough beginning to the season, and just trying to get back in the smooth of things with the Hornets and the Stingers, and doing double duties quite a bit. We've got a lot of different setup changes that you have to do. So to come out here in the rain and with slick conditions and just get 2 podiums, I mean, it doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, that figure 8 course is hard to navigate normally while dry. Talk about throwing the wet as an element.
Oh man, when you have the rain, it's a whole new element. I mean, it's not that warm out. My windshield actually started fogging up about lap 15, and just trying to look out the rear side window and just judging that intersection, it's a lot harder because people are getting a little bit more unpredictable. But I kept my own and just checked it when I needed to and played it safe and ended up second.
Who do you want to thank for helping get out here?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Woodinville Cut Shop, my main sponsor, Hornets Nest Racing, Brandy Hood Promotions, GN Northwest Exterior Wall Systems. Would also like to thank my fiance, Alyssa Rapon. She supports me every single day and supports all my craziness. I love you very much. And just all the fans for coming out here, and we really can't do this without you tonight. Thank you for being out here just in the wet weather and just dealing with all this. Woo!
Second place night, 16 of Peyton Hop. Diesel double duty, 2 wins, and I don't know if you know this, but you lapped the entire field in that Stinger race. How fast was that car tonight?
She was a rocket ship. I just let it do what it and it just brought it up twice.
You get up here twice. The weather definitely didn't seem to affect you. Why do you think you do so well when the wet weather comes out?
You know, I really don't know, but I'm super patient when it's wet.
Patience was the key to victory tonight. The 717, who helps you get out here with that machine?
Oh, Sandy in the Valley, Snowfalls Credit Union, Teen Shop Center, Hair Inc., Valley Asphalt, bus drivers, and the fans and my parents for sure.
Well, let's give it up. The 717, the fastest car around. Diesel Snyder wins.
Ben, we need to get you a rain jacket, buddy. Holy cow.
Yep, I quickly stepped in the jet dryer before hopping back in the booth for you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, we've got one more to go here on our Home Track Heroes Rain Edition, brought to you by All Ply Roofing. And this is the PRCBD Hornets Dash for Cash. So, drivers, this is no points, but it is dinero out there. And as you can see, Diesel Snyder is trying for 3 wins in one night. Never seen that before in my life, so we'll see if he can pull it off. Your lineup looks like this as they've gone to the regular boot here. Bobby Hauk, the 08 out of Snohomish, Snow Valley Farms. Donna Gillespie, the 024 from Salem in the Waltz Wood Company car. Second row, Dempsey Graham out of Duval, the LAF Tech 132. And Pat Folger, the 30 car, is outside the second row.
The 101, Brian McNamara of Snohomish, Trueline Wheel and Frame of Seattle. The 65, Bryson Wingfield out of Monroe, is Papa Tony Hills helps sports that car. The 32, Chase Gardner's double dipping in Hornet duty tonight. Out of Snohomish, Quality Towing helps him. And then we'll get to the 46 of Calvin Delaverne of Snohomish, sponsored by Reppin Welding and Rail.
Fifth row, Tanner Bjornson, the 01 out of Arlington. All Ply Roofing sponsors it. Gino Solomon, the 17S out of North Bend, sponsored by Valley Asphalt. Behind them, Matt Snyder in the 15 from Snohomish, Handy in the Valley. And Zachary Dixon out of Marysville, the color specialist, premium quality car paint service in the 67.
The 31L is Lila Mashburn out of Marysville. General Car Wash is aboard them. Next to the 91 of Alicia Dixon out of Marysville. Three Brothers Garage supports the 91. The 86 David Dixons of Stanwood, Three Brothers Garage there as well. Next to the 102 of Randy Moffitt of Snohomish, Trueline Wheel and Frame of Seattle aboard him.
Cody Weldon goes Hornet Racing, the 151 out of Arlington. All Ply Roofing sponsors him. Andrew Zachary, the 39 Team No Lift, right next to him. Dawson Cox brings the 10 car out, and he will go Hornet style, as will we see Peyton Hop once again in the 16. So it's the JBR 10 of Cox and the Cut Shop of Woodinville 16 of Hop. And then at the very end, starting 21st, two-time winner on the night, Diesel Snyder in the 717, sponsored by Handy in the Valley. He is out of Cleellum.
With the way he's been racing tonight, Caleb, I don't think he'll be 21st for very long.
All right, so head to Angels, put down your sports bet on Snyder for a three-peat. Is that what you're saying?
I would put that there, although I think that might be the favorite coming into the money line.
With Matt and Gino starting so far ahead of him, I don't know that I could hammer the over on that. But we'll see. Green flag is out. Are they going 30?
Yes,
okay.
It does look like 30 laps.
30 on the boots, and we're up and underway.
Good run right now. Looks like Gillespie and Hauk there. McNamara, Gino Solomon quickly trying to move his way forward. But Dempsey Graham will lead lap number 1.
And Snyder's picked off, what, like 5 cars already? Ish?
Gino Solomon's already up into second, so that whole Snyder family racing team camp. Oh, there's Matt Snyder.
Diesel just tagged Daddy coming out of turn number 2.
Matt Snyder became Matt Slider through there after that contact.
Well, he just got about 5 of them going into the boot.
Oh my goodness, Das Boot cannot handle all this.
Wow, Gino Solomon 17S. bidding for the lead. So is it going to be Grandpa playing the spoiler here?
Oh, man.
But that's a lot of cars he has passed. The Diesel's passed already, and not a lot of time.
Multi 21, Seb? Any kind of team orders there? Or?
Hard to say. There he goes. Passing Matt. Where did Matt come across the last transponder loop? Matt was 5th on the last transponder loop.
Okay.
So he's in the top 5 in 3 laps.
Yeah, so that means Diesel can't be far behind. He's 6th.
Yeah.
All right. How are you feeling about me hammering the over right now?
I think you did well. Although, again, Gino is fast in his own right and has some pad here. So Diesel's going to have to be extra quick and get around Grandpa.
Yeah, that'll be tough. Although here he is right behind Dempsey Graham. You can see it. Solomon, Graham, Snyder, Hauk. Your top 5. There is something in the water. No pun. I'm sorry, all pun intended. That's all this show has been.
This is the Dash for Cash. What Diesel's trying to do is make it rain.
Absolutely. It's all about the Benjamins here in the Dash for Cash. And Diesel Snyder's trying to make himself richer, which maybe he can go buy a pair of driving gloves if he gets some of this Dash for Cash money.
Coming from Benjamin Iman, that's rich. Gino Solomon out in front, the 17S. Diesel Snyder, how much space does he have to run him down? Looks like a full straightaway worth of space on the 3/8 as he makes the quick left-hand hook onto the 5th mile. And now they'll run down the back straightaway of the 5th mile before making the sharp right.
Oh, Caleb, it's the Brian McNamara quad box.
Whoa.
This is all Brian McNamara.
Well done, production. All right, so from 3 different angles, you can watch the 101, who's currently almost 4 cars wide and trying to defend his position.
You got it, Brian.
Down to the inside as he's trying to get back underneath Peyton Hop. Dawson Cox in there, Hop's in there, and a whole host of others.
Oh, my goodness.
Dawson slide the back end out of the 10 car, coming out of the corner, and then full throttle down the straightaway.
The art of racing in the rain, seen from the view of the 101 Hornet on Das Boot. Peyton Hop right now, he's got to be happy, already up into the top 5. Dempsey Graham, he's hanging on to a strong 4th place right now in that machine, but here comes, I think, the Snyders, and Diesel Snyder's right to the back bumper of his grandfather, Gino.
McNamara was sideways there for a second. Here comes Snyder. Working on Solomon. Into it. Look out, Gino. Throwing out the defense mechanism. The bumper cover coming flying off the car to try to distract Diesel Snyder. Might have been the only thing he could have done.
Yeah, trying to do his inner Mach 5, hit a button on the steering wheel, and channel a Bill Bleem impression with the bumper cover flailing around. Something beefy in this Pops tonight, trying to make it around. He actually was able to get away from Diesel a little bit there, so maybe the distraction's working, and just trying to pad and stay as far away as he can right now. 22 to go.
It's going to be a long road to hoe for Solomon in keeping Diesel at bay, but doing it so far. See how much ground Diesel made back up, and definitely cut into it, but we'll flash away and take a look at his 5th place Peyton Hop in the 16 car. He's trying to close up on Dempsey Graham, but Graham a long ways in front of him, and Dawson Cox in the JBR 10 in behind him running 6th. Saw Dawson more than a time or two in the McNamara, just sliding and throwing that car around. All right, so the question is, can Diesel Snyder three-peat on the night after winning once and lapping the field in his 2nd feature win of the night? He's closing in on his grandpa to do it. Can he pull it off? We'll find out when Home Track Heroes returns. Final segment of the night here on Home Track Heroes, and we are watching the young man in that blue and black and I'm gonna say pink 717 of Diesel Snyder trying to chase down his grandpa Gino Solomon, the 17S, for what would be his 3rd feature win of the night here on our program. I'm Caleb Hart. He has Ben Iman, and Ben, just to sum up, look out, trying to loop around. Big bid for the lead here. Diesel Snyder won the 1st Hornet race of the night. Came out, lapped the field in the Stinger 8 main event. And here in the Hornet Dash for Cash main event is up to 2nd. We have never seen a driver in the history of Home Track Heroes lap the field in a main. We haven't seen anybody really double up, much less triple up over the course of a night.
I know Diesel definitely could do something special here tonight if he's able to pull that off. We're definitely seeing I ran to Angel Wins Casino Resort and put all of the money that Racy Raccoon owed me on Diesel doing it, so I may or may not be rooting for him to do it here now for nefarious purposes.
Rabid Raccoon owed you money?
Racy Raccoon owed me money.
Rabid Raccoon.
Yeah, Rabid Raccoon. He owes me $45, actually, I will say. And the last time I tried to claim it, he tried to square up and fight me.
So that's what a Rabid Raccoon does. Peyton Hopp is in position number 4. That's the 16 car. The Snyder family has the entire top 3 to themselves right now. But we've got 2 around in the corner and make it 4 together overall as the caution flag is out. And it got even messier, and that is Gino Solomon, who just got a piece of this. So Solomon, under the wet conditions, couldn't avoid part of what's going on. You can see it's not quite a track block condition, but it's really close. And then coming through, Solomon just needing a spot to go and had nothing. So he's out there. Let's get a look from the Dawson Cox point of view.
Look at this save from Dawson, though.
Nice avoidance, Dawson. All right, so here's your lead group, and you can, and then it's Diesel all up in the bumper of his grandpa that puts him in and through. Here's from Diesel's point of view in the GoPro.
Yeah.
Man, Diesel's lucky he didn't get more of that.
That's a tough place in the track just to have a caution come out. That's hard to see coming off that.
Well, and keep in mind as well, right, not only caution coming out, but can you get slowed down and load up, much less do you have the opportunity to, and I don't think any of that was necessarily working in that lead pack's favor. So we understand the officials have discussed it, and they're going to offer the lead pack a little forgiveness here on this one, just because of all the situations that have gone down tonight. We've officiated like that consistently over the course of the night. So Solomon is going to be in the lead. Oh, flying chickens in a barnyard. There goes the hood.
Oh, Gino Solomon is now completely blocked and has somehow managed to stay on track and is in the lead.
He's in front of his grandson and son coming into the corner.
He's still going.
Gino is still flying out there.
I think he only missed one turn with the Uke tire. Gino is still too tough to tame.
Oh, good. He's
still on track.
Gonna lose it. It's coming right here. And into the lead goes Diesel Snyder as Solomon has to pull off.
Mechanical black flag to the 17S.
That stinks for Solomon, who was trying to play spoiler on the night, but look at it. I mean, look at the story. There is now your leader for the 3rd time on the night in Diesel Snyder.
Hood whack. I think if we would have zoomed back and gone and replay, I think Diesel Snyder may have shot a laser beam and gotten the hood pins or something. I don't know.
Well, in that collision that we saw coming in the corner, that might have just dislodged it enough.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Gino Solomon, but father and son, 1-2. Peyton Hopp trying to play spoiler, running 3rd. Dawson Cox would love to get back up on the podium for a 2nd time tonight. In that 10 car running 4th.
As would Peyton.
As would Peyton, yeah.
That's right.
We've had a couple multi-trippers tonight.
Yeah, you were down there getting soaking wet with
them. Absolutely.
So that is for 3rd and 4th, Hopp and Cox. And both of them having to put some counter steer into that.
Oh, there's Matt.
Meanwhile, Snyder had some trouble. Here comes Hopp. Sliding into splashing through the puddle. Get these boys their rain boots.
Splash Mountain through the boot. Unfortunately, no stop and take a photo spot as we come through that weight transfer section. And it's just getting wetter.
Can you imagine if we had like one of the in-car cameras on the drivers' faces during this main event? Right, the look on Peyton Hopp as he went through.
It would just be Derek Todorov at the top of the show.
Wow.
I love you, DT.
It's exciting. As Diesel Snyder continuing to work his way through the 3rd and 4th corner on the 3/8 mile. I don't know, Diesel needs to find somewhere that rains 360 days a year and races as good as he has been tonight. Just incredible.
Do they race in the Amazon rainforest?
I don't believe that pavement track racing has been brought to the Amazon yet.
Well, there's no reason capitalism can't do its magic.
God bless him. Snyder in and behind, trying to put a car a lap down, and he has got Hopp right back on him. You can see the thud of the windshield wiper continuing to push through as they will lap Gardner down on the inside, getting into the first corner here in the 5th mile. Snyder to his own right. So we're in a really solid race here tonight. Hop having a pretty good night too, but boy, these conditions have to make it awfully challenging as they'll get up and around Weldon. And Snyder just gets a car length or 2 worth of breathing room, at least for now.
It's just disgusting. Like, there's just not a better word for it. Like, this is, is it Evergreen Speedway or is it I-5? Just neither one of them seem to be fun to drive.
Chase Gardner, hang on. Beautiful save.
Oh, good save, Chase.
Splitting the difference goes Dawson Cox. Here comes the 15 of Snyder again up on another slower car. Hop coming off of that sharp left onto the 3rd and 4th turn and comes out just a bit higher. You'll see him mark the car higher as they're going to go to the inside to make the
Peyton
pass.
stuck behind the lap traffic.
Well, we'll look back at Diesel Snyder. 10 laps to go for him, and our thanks go to All Ply Roofing. Is your roof keeping up with all the weather? Washington dishes out like this monsoon? Call All Ply Roofing for a free estimate. allplyroofing.com, your residential and commercial roofing team. All Ply Roofing.
Yeah, a tree fell in my house in all this weather.
Wow.
I forgot to mention that.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. The roof's okay. So.
Well.
But I mean, if the weather's giving you a challenge, All Ply's the people to call.
Yeah, if you had had a problem with it, they would have been the guys. They would have got you all fixed up, ready to go.
I know they would have. They would have been my first call. I've got them on speed dial.
Sitting here in this wet weather would have been terrible with a bump roof.
Absolutely. Peyton Hop is going to make the run on Matt Snyder, or at least try to. That's the battle for second. There is no battle for first.
I feel like every time Hop gets close in on Snyder and has to give ground again, he just gets like a little bit angrier, like he grows to be a bigger size of the Hulk.
Yeah.
Right? Like, look at how hard he is pushing that car now.
Yeah.
They're going to slide in and through.
Oh, Peyton Hop wants position.
Yeah, and Peyton Hop smashed. Goes right through the puddle, but can't quite get to Snyder. Snyder willing to pick up on the throttle a little bit too, so it looks like the 15's getting faster, or at least willing to risk it a little bit more.
Yeah, we talked about earlier with the street stocks when they were having. You mentioned they had to pretend like there was an egg. Oh, Delaverne right in front of the battle for second and third.
They escaped. We're okay.
All right. You mentioned the egg behind the throttle. How is that translating, you think, here in the Hornets too? And is instead of an egg, is it a watermelon?
At this point in time, they're saying that egg's going to get scrambled as they're working off the corner. Down on the bottom, there is Snyder again. And Hop's going to risk going in just a little bit faster as Diesel Snyder's still streaking away from everybody.
What, is Kenny G? You think it's probably what he's listening to? Is he's just like, some smooth jazz, like
mood music?
Yeah, it's just like, I feel like it's, you probably put the noise canceling headphones on and you don't realize the awful things that are going on around you.
Well, if Diesel's listening to Kenny G, I think our two drivers here are listening to Slayer as they work their way down the front straightaway, nose to tail. It is just a very calm, relaxed evening stroll for Diesel Snyder, looking for his 3rd feature win here of the night. We have never seen this before on Home Track Heroes, and he is looking to be the first to do it. Coming up on Delaverne, smoke showing from the 39. We're still green as of now. That might be steam. Just getting something hot into a puddle.
That is possible. Andrew Zachary, that was the 2nd time we've seen that car out tonight. You can see how hard this rain is coming down here in the shot from the camera. It's just dreadful.
We did have occasional moments of dryness.
Yeah.
Right?
That has since sufficed.
Yeah, gone. Completely. This is your Western Washington Spring Part 2, and we're going to get a caution. So Zachary does draw the yellow flag here. So he couldn't get the 39 fired back up. We'll watch where he comes to. It was Chase Gardner, who's one of the nicest guys.
And then he tried to get the car rolling and puddle.
He's just got to be miserable too.
Ugh.
If any of that got into the cockpit and like soaked the driver's suit, that dry cleaning bill's
rain or shine at the Super Speedway of the West.
That dry cleaning bill is gonna suck. All right, so we quad box for the win. Diesel Snyder leads. He's the only one that we're not in the car with, as he'll lead him into this first corner, and everybody's saying, we're going to try to keep you from win number 3, kid. This is our job here. Hop finally gets around Matt Snyder, and Peyton Hop's going to take his shot to play spoiler.
Yeah, but Diesel Snyder's already opened up multiple car lengths towards Peyton Hop, and Peyton Hop might have gotten to second, but I don't think they're getting to Diesel.
Anchors away, Sailor. Holy cow.
Oh, Diesel Snyder has dominated Busch Light Night here on the Super Speedway of the West, and maybe when he's of age, he can enjoy a Busch Light after a night like this.
Well, he's got a few years still to go on that one. As Snyder cruising from Hop. I say cruising. He was still kind of in picture there for a minute. You can barely see the spray coming off the back bumper of the Snyder car. However, sans the hourglass are getting awfully thin.
Yeah, our own version of wet racing, because you can just see the sliding of Hop and Snyder. Diesel Snyder is going to come back around. Tegan Bjornsson is going to be at the back of this, but I don't think that's going to be any problems for Diesel.
Is it Bjornsson or is it the 31 of Mashburn who is also in this field?
I think it's Bjornsson.
All right.
White flag is out for Diesel Snyder. He may not talk to fish, but tonight you can call him Aquaman.
Not bad. Down the back straightaway, it is Bjornsson, the final obstacle to be avoided. Hop is there in case he screws up badly, but he does not. And folks, you've never seen it before, may not see it again. 3 wins, 1 night. Diesel Snyder have a night, man. Peyton Hop and Matt Snyder round it out. What a night it was for Diesel for the 3rd time. Here on Home Track Heroes, we go to the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium and talk to Diesel Snyder.
Well, Matt, 3rd place, pretty satisfying here in the Dash for Cash. You were running a great race and a great battle there with Peyton Hop.
Yeah, it's always a fun battle with Peyton. He's a hard competitor.
You put on a great show. Everyone back at Snyder Family Racing did. Who would you like to thank for that?
Handy in the Valley, Valley Asphalt, Hair Inc., Snowfalls Credit Union, SC, the Moose Lodge. I think that's about it.
Driver the number 15, Matt Snyder, 3rd place tonight. Time number 3 up here, Peyton. I'm sure it would have been nice to get one of them, but still got to feel pretty good to get 3 on the podium, right?
Hey, 2 seconds and a third, I'll take that any day of the week, man. I mean, run 3 races in a row here at Evergreen. I mean, that's just a really hard thing to do. I mean, you've got a lot of competitors out here. It's very competitive. A guy like Matt Snyder, me and him are putting on a heck of a battle, and just couldn't ask for a better night today.
You put on a great show out there. Who helped you do it?
I'd like to thank the Woodinville Cut Shop, GN Northwest, Hornets Nest Racing, Hibbs Automotive, Brandy Hood Promotions, Bartle, Grandma and Grandpa Hop Racing, my beautiful fiance Alyssa back there, that she supported me since day one, and just all the fans for sticking it out in this weather. I mean, this is definitely not the ideal racing weather, but you fans coming here and just spending your money on this place keeps this business going. So thank you very much.
Woo! Driver number 16, 2nd place tonight, Peyton Hop. I'm pretty much out of questions to ask you. We've been up here so many times already. You put on a great show tonight, a dominating performance, a true clean sweep. 2 heat race wins, 2 qualifying, top of the board, 3 main event wins. How you feeling?
Man, this feels awesome.
You put on a show, chasing down for a long time though, the 17S of Gino Solomon. Do you think you could have got him had he not gotten into some trouble?
Probably not. It was dialed in pretty good, but I was staying right there with him.
As always, that Snyder Family Racing team looking great out there. Who do you have to thank for that?
I gotta thank Handy in the Valley, Valley Asphalt, oh my God. This sucks. My mom, my dad, for sure. SC, bus drivers, Moose, and I think that's it.
Driver the number 717, 343, Diesel Snyder.
Fantastic Home Track Heroes here tonight, Ben Hyman. Diesel Snyder, trace wins. Cool night.
Diesel definitely showed that when it rains, you want to not see him in the pit box because he's probably going to stomp all over you.
Trophy hunting is what he's doing. Next week on the show, we've got a wide variety of action coming your way. We may have, we're not sure yet, monster trucks, bump to pass, youth Hornets, spec Rangers. We might have the Sean Peters demo derby. We might have buses. You never know. That's coming up next Sunday on the show. Next time you can come to the track, it is Saturday the 31st for DriftCon. For Ben Iman, the Hobbses, I'm Caleb Hart. Fantastic Home Track Heroes. See you next Sunday night for more.
Thanks for watching Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Join us next week for more great racing from Evergreen Speedway.